Oh, hello everyone. I am sitting down and filming a video that I wasn't expecting to film, I didn't plan on it, but I just got too excited about what I have going on that I wanted to film and make a YouTube video about it. Okay, so as you can see from the title, this video is, called Instagram Picks My April TBR. Now, you might have seen this on Instagram, probably floating around at the beginning of the year. People were doing this 12 books for 12 months of the year challenge, where they were asking 12 people, 12 of their friends to pick a book. They add it to the TBRs for the year, and then as they read them, at whatever pace they want, they check them off that they've read them. And I was like, that's so cool, but I am too impatient, and there's no possible way that I could remember or, keep up with 12 books to read throughout the year. But I was like, why don't I just ask Instagram to pick 12, just to give me book suggestions, and I'll pick 12 and we'll just read them all in 1 month. So you guys picked my TBR. Also, I'm definitely not the first person who has ever done this idea. I've literally participated in these things. People have actually messaged me for this, 12 books for 12 months of the year challenge. So I just wanted to join in on the fun and do my version where I asked Instagram, tell me romance books that you think I have to read. And looking at the suggestions, I decided to pick ones, especially if I already own the audiobook. Of course, it was getting added because it was already on my TBR anyway. If I could check the book out from Kindle Unlimited, if I could get the book from a library app or something, those were all factors that decided on the books that I picked. So this is just a great way for me to read the books, number one, that other people in the community suggest, and then also knock some books that have been on my TBR for a while, because looking at the 12 that I selected, we have some really popular books, books that are currently really popular on here, books that have been on my TBR forever that are popular that I just haven't gotten to yet, some really new to me authors, new to me books, some books that I haven't seen anyone talk about. So I am so excited. Oh, and then obviously I'm gonna do a reading vlog throughout the month of April, where you will get my in the moment thoughts and then a wrap up on these 12 books, and we will see how well you guys did. Do you guys know my taste? Did you recommend some good books? I can't wait to see the results. But I think that is enough for this intro. Let's just go into the 12 books that are definitely on my April TBR that were suggested from Instagram. Oh, and by the way, my Instagram is linked in my bio. It's Kelly Reynolds Reads. Please follow my Instagram. We have so much fun over there. I love Instagram. Literally just, I love my Instagram. I'm very proud of my Instagram and the pictures and the content that I put out over there. So follow her if you aren't yet. It's a disclaimer. Obviously, the order that I'm gonna, say what books are on the TBR is not the order I'll be reading them in. I have no idea where I'm gonna start, but I did make the little template for the books, so we will just go across the board. Now, the first book that I have on here is actually called King by T.M. Frazier, and this is the first book in a series. All of the audiobooks are available on Hoopla and Scribd, and it's very funny because this series came up in a Q&A I was doing. Someone asked me and they were like, have you read this series? I've read the first 2 books in this series. I think you would like them. And then another one of my friends chimed in and was like, oh my God, Kelly, this is one of my favorite series ever. I think you should totally read it. I think you'll really like it. She was literally like, how you feel about Welcome to the Dark Side and the Fallen Men series is how I feel about this series. So obviously that got me very intrigued. I had no idea that she loved it so much because I feel like I haven't seen her talk about it. But all I know about this is it's a dark romance. I think the first 2 books in the series follow the same couple. It is, again, a longer-ish series. I don't think it follows the same couple throughout the entire time. I can't really tell you much about it. I, read the general description, and it just gave me dark romance vibes. I'm so sorry. Once again, I am the queen of not knowing anything about books before going into them, but I trusted my friend. This looked good. And the fact that it came up twice, I was like, okay, great. And then obviously when I posted about this challenge, she was the first one to message me right away. She was like, King by T.M. Frazier. So I was like, okay, great. To the TBR, this was a very easy first edition. The next book I am so excited about because this is an audiobook that I've owned forever. I kept meaning to get it and I keep pushing it off and pushing it off, but I know the time is now. I feel very strongly that I'm gonna love this book. This is the first book that I will be reading by this author, and it is Hush Hush by Lucia Franco. The person who suggested this book to me was like, have you read the Off Balance series? I feel like you would love that. If not, have you read Hush Hush Hush? And I was like, I have the audiobook for Hush Hush. The Off Balance series, of course, is on my radar. Lucia Franco seems like an author after my own heart. She writes forbidden, age gap, taboo romances. This book is a heavy age gap, forbidden romance. The girl is, I actually believe she is a dancer, an adult dancer, let's say. And then she ends up hooking up with a guy who's like 20 plus years older than her. Right up my alley. I know there's like messiness, drama in here. I do believe there is cheating in here as well. But everything that I knew about this book sounded just perfect for me. I have high hopes for this one. This one, if there's one book on here actually that I think is going to be a winner for me, it's going to be this one. Next, we have a book that is so hyped up, and especially on audio. I've heard so many people who listen to the audiobook of this. They love it. This will be the first book that I've read by this author, even though I own actually almost all of her books. I just have never gotten around to reading them. We have Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I purchased this audiobook in a sale, actually not that long ago. I have never heard a single bad review about this book. I know this book is actually kind of a reverse age gap situation where it's an older-ish woman, younger guy. I mean, it's not like The Pool Boy by like Nikki Sloan level of like, you know, reverse age gap, but I do like that element to it. I believe it's also like a small town romance. I think the main girl works in a hospital. And then she has, you know, she meets the guy in the small town. I've heard this book is also kind of like a tearjerker. Everyone absolutely loves it. And again, one of those super hyped books that I can't wait to check out for myself. Okay, then another audiobook that I have, and I was so excited to see this book recommended to me. We have Silent Waters, or what is it called? The Silent Waters? Oh no, I moved something. It's called The Silent Waters by Brittany Cherry. Now, I think apparently this book is gonna make me cry. I mean, look at the cover. We're crying in the rain. No, this book actually is a romance between I want to say this is the one where he is a musician and the girl is maybe like someone who doesn't speak. I think she experiences something traumatic and she's the one who doesn't speak. I think that is the setup for this book, and they have, I don't know if it's like a second chance romance or like a soulmate situation, like they know each other from the past. It's been a while since I heard someone bring up this book, but again, I know like tearjerker, really emotional. It sounded really amazing, so that's why I had to purchase it on audio when I saw it was in an Audible sale. And again, that's all I can remember from this book. I'm quite positive that is the setup for it. If I am wrong, I'm so sorry, and I guess we'll see for myself. But you know what? Someone wanted me to cry. And I said, you know what, bet, let's go, let's cry. Next up, we have a book from a new to me author who has been on my radar for so long, and also her books get suggested to me all the time. Anytime I do like Q&As or I ask for book recommendations, someone's always bringing up Elizabeth O'Rourke, and I'm so excited that someone suggested A Deal with the Devil. I did actually find the audiobook, and I didn't have to pay for it outside of, you know, my Scribd subscription. So I'm very excited to check this out. I think this is the one where it's an enemies to lovers. The guy is a plastic surgeon and she ends up like working for him, whether she's like his assistant or something like that. I think that is the setup for this book. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm thinking of another Elizabeth O'Rourke book, but I'm pretty positive that's the setup for this one. I've heard nothing but great things about Elizabeth's books. I think they have a lot of angst and some spice, and I'm just very excited to finally read something by her. Another author who has been on my radar for a while, and I've owned this audiobook for a very long time, and I'm so excited to finally read something by Miss Candy Steiner. So we have Blindside. Someone recommended Blindside. I was so excited because, again, this book has been on my TBR for so long. I have owned this audiobook for a very long time. I actually own no, I don't. I own Blindside and Fair Catch I have on audio. I don't have Quarterback Sneak or Hail Mary yet on audio. I wanted to check out these two books first. It is a series of connected standalones. Technically, Fair Catch comes before Blindside, but because Blindside was the one suggested, we will do Blindside first. I normally never read series out of order, but I'm making an exception for this time. This is a football fake dating romance. I believe this is the fake dating one where like the football player is friends with the girl and the girl actually wants to make another guy jealous. So that's how they end up in this fake dating arrangement. Another book that is very hyped, very well loved. I've heard nothing but great things about. So hopefully this book doesn't let me down and I can check out this whole series because I know people really love them and they all just sound so good. So I'm finally picking up my first Candy Steiner book. The final book that I will be listening to on audio, the other books that I'm going to mention will be Kindle reads. We have Vow of Deception by Rena Kent. This is the first book in a trilogy. This trilogy follows the same couple the whole time, that I know for sure. A lot of my good friends are obsessed with Rena Kent and Rena Kent's books, and I think people are shocked when I say I haven't read a Rena Kent book because I do love mafia and dark romance, and that's what Rena Kent writes. I believe Vow of Deception is a mafia series. I don't know if this is an arranged marriage, but obviously it's called Vow of Deception, so it has to do with marriage. I love things that have to do with marriage and like, you know, husband, wife, especially if it's like in a darker mafia setting. So that's all I know about this book. And yeah, we will see if this book gets me excited to pick up the other two books in the series or, you know, or not. So I feel like this one makes me nervous because again, Rena is such a popular author. I'm like, what if I don't like this book? I want to like it. But we will see. So that is A Vow of Deception by Rena Kent. Then we have a book that I knew was going to pop up. I just knew when I asked, what romance books do you think I should read? Help me build my April TBR. I knew Right Move by Liz Tomford was going to be there. This book is an icon, a legend, and it is the moment right now. This book is so popular. This is the follow-up to Mile High by Liz, which I love Mile High. I gave that book 5 stars. This is the next book. It's a series of connected standalones. So this follows Ryan and Indy, who are introduced in Mile High. Ryan is Stevie's brother, who is a famous basketball player, and Indy is Stevie's coworker slash friend. This book is setting itself up for success with me because it is fake dating, forced proximity. Apparently Ryan Shea is like the book boyfriend of the moment, and I love Liz's writing. I really just loved Mile High for the writing, and even though it was a longer book, and I know this is a longer book, Mile High did read very quickly. So I will say again, the pressure is on with this book, but I actually am very confident that I'm gonna love this book. I do. I think I'm gonna like it, and we'll see if I like it more than Mile High. But this is probably the most hyped book on this list. I would say next to Part of Your World and Blindside. I think those are the 3 like most popular books that I have on my TBR. Okay, then we have a fresh new release by an author who again has been on my radar for so long. And this is her newest release, even though she does have other books. We have Into the Tide by Laura Pavlov. This is a small town romance. I believe this one is Brother's Best Friend. I will say I'm happy this book is on the shorter side, so that's why I'm excited to pick it up, and I'll pick it up on my Kindle. I don't need to buy the audiobook for it. I've heard this is great. Again, I've never read anything from Laura before, but she obviously is a very popular small town romance author. I love small town romance, so I love adding new small town romance authors to my list of, you know, authors that I just love to hype up. For a book which is nice and short that was recommended to me by a friend, but also I have other friends who have read it and loved it, we have Queen of Madness by Lee Jaquo. I love Lee Jaquo. This is the first book in a duet that she has, and this, if you can guess from the title, Queen of Madness, I think this is like technically inspired by like Alice in Wonderland and like Queen of Hearts, but it is it's either mafia or cartel. Forgive me, I can't remember which one it is, but obviously it's just a darker romance and I am so excited for it. It's like only 250 something pages, so very excited about that. I really like Lee Jaquo's holiday, you know, novellas with like the 4-leaf and what's the other one? Christmas on the 13th Floor, you know, just that whole series. So I do like Lee's writing. I'm excited to check this out. Again, love that it's nice and short. Love that it's a darker romance. I love Alice in Wonderland, so I like that this is inspired by that. I think that's incredible. So we will see how this goes. And speaking of books that are inspired by like my favorite things, we have Just Like Heaven by Trelina Pucci. This book has been on my radar for a very long time. I have the Kindle version actually of this duet. This is again another first book in a duet. This is a mafia book inspired by Romeo and Juliet. Miss Trelina is after my own heart with this one. Trelina is not a new to me author. I read Tangled in Tinsel by her, which is her smutty Christmas novella, and I really loved that book. But this one is obviously like, it's been on my radar for a very long time, because I'm not kidding you. Once I heard Romeo and Juliet Mafia, I was like, give it to me. Grabby hands. So I have full faith that I'm gonna like this one. I know this one ends on like a really big cliffhanger, so maybe I'll save this one for like later in, you know, when I go through this TBR, because maybe I'll just get so excited that I need to read book 2. I hope that's what happens, but again, really confident in this pick, and I was very happy to see that this duet was recommended. And then the final book, I again was very excited to see someone recommend this, because this book has been on my radar for a while, and whoever recommended this knew I loved monster romance. So we have, this one is called A Soul to Keep by Opal Renee. Is it just Opal? Yeah, I think it's just Opal Renee. And this is obviously a monster romance, and I'm excited. Even though this is a little bit longer, I will say this book is like over 500 pages. Hopefully it reads really quickly. I don't really understand why a monster romance needs to be that long. Maybe also because I'm just used to reading like monster romance novellas, and this doesn't have an audiobook available. There is a series, like this is part of a series. I think it's like connected standalones. I don't know if it's the same type of monster in each series. I'm trying to remember the covers of these books. The covers of these books are gorgeous. But anyways, I actually don't know anything about this book. I saw this adorable piece of fan art on like Instagram and even on TikTok, and I was like, hello, that is so cute. So I don't even know what kind of monster he is. What is he, like a soul eater? What is that? A bone daddy? I actually really have no idea, but I've just heard really good things. And again, it's been on my radar for a while. I'm happy to see it was recommended, and hopefully this is a good monster time. All right, guys, so that was it. That is my April TBR that was chosen by Instagram. I am so happy with the recs that I got and the books that I picked. I'm so happy there was a great mix of books that I already owned, books that I can get on my Kindle and stuff, and I'm just so happy. So if you want to follow me on my Instagram for in-the-moment updates on how this TBR, you know, readathon goes, please follow me there. All of my other socials are linked below. And that's all for this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!